me. Hello, I'm Tabitha. Welcome to Life on Sweezy Street, where my husband and I share our lives with our three beautiful daughters, Olive, Willow, and Hazel. Today, I'm going to be talking about the best books that we read this week. I feel like here on YouTube, you find tons of like young adult review books, adult books reviewed, but I don't really see a ton of children's books, and there are a lot of them out there that are really, really good. Every week we go to the library and pick out anywhere from like 5 to 10 books to bring home for the week. And two of the ones that we've really enjoyed this week are both space themed. The first book is called A Place for Pluto. This is by Steph Wade and art is done by Melanie Demmer. This book is a Vox book, which if you haven't heard of it, if you have kids, these are amazing to get from the library. They have a little voice box on the side where your kid can turn it on, press play, and essentially read the book to themselves, which is really nice if you're feeling super crusty or you've got a newborn like I do and you are breastfeeding or in the middle of something else where you can't take the time to read to them in that very moment. This book is called A Place for Pluto. For those of you who were born in the millennial era like I was, then you know that Pluto used to be a planet and now it is no longer a planet. So this book is all about all the other planets telling Pluto, hey dude, not a planet anymore. And Pluto goes around kind of trying to figure out what he is. This book is great for kids who are trying to fit in. I feel like they can relate to Pluto as a planet who doesn't fit in. He's trying to find his place, and I feel like that really resonates with a lot of kids. I know that both Olive and Willow really loved this book, but even more than that, it sparked a love of space for them, which is really, really cool and fun to see. The illustrations are beautiful. One of my favorite pages is this one here, where it shows Halley's Comet. They have the cutest little expressions on their faces. They're always talking in little word bubbles. And if you have the Vox book version of this, the narrator does a really great job at telling the story and using a bunch of different voices. So I highly, highly recommend this book, especially if you have a kid who is into space, or if you want to explain to them about Pluto, if you don't really have like the scientific words to explain it yourself. I know for me, I taught the girls the song that we all made. I don't know, maybe we didn't all learn it in school, but I learned it in school. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, but it doesn't really work without Pluto. So this is really great at explaining why Pluto is no longer considered a planet, but why that's okay. The other book that we got this week that is really, really beautiful in absolutely every way is called Margot and the Moon Landing. This book is by A.C. Fitzpatrick and it is illustrated by Erica Mendina, and it is just absolutely beautiful. The art is so cute. I think that's one of my favorite things about being a mom, is getting to read kids books again and just being able to have an excuse to look at all the beautiful illustrations. This book is about a girl named Margot. She is also just really, really into space. And one day she's trying to talk to everybody at school, from her teachers to her mom to her friends. She's trying to talk to them all about space, and just nobody seems to care. Nobody's really listening to her. And so she gets upset and she wishes that all she could ever do is talk about space. And so the next morning she wakes up and everything that comes out of her mouth is about space. And people are just kind of, oh, that's nice, Margot, that's nice, and just kind of brush her off, don't really take her seriously. And she starts to get really, really frustrated, and her anger and sadness just like build up inside her until finally she just scribbles all over the wall all her feelings. She writes them down. Of course, none of us want our kids to scribble on their walls or their furniture. I know Willow definitely enjoys doing that. If you look away for 2 seconds, she's writing on the walls. So when I first read that, I was a little hesitant at the message it was sending across, but what her mom does when she realizes what Margot's done is just incredibly beautiful. And it's just a really great story about finding where you fit in and just being unapologetic for the things that you love. I think that's a really great message to send, especially to older kids. who are starting school and making new friends and being exposed to people outside their family. Just teaching them that it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to like what you like, even if other people don't understand you or don't get you. So this book, highly recommend. We loved this book. That's enough from me. Let's hear what the kids think. Do you like A Place for Pluto?
Yes. Yeah. A sad part is Pluto not the planet, but that's really sad. But still love my friends and found new friends.
What do you rate A Place for Pluto?
7 out of 5.
7 out of 5. Nice. And what do you guys think of Margot and the moon landing?
It's awesome. I really like it. Everything in space.
Willow likes it when she reads in her bed. What do you rate this book?
It's 7 out of 5.
7 out of 5 again?
6 out of 6.
6 out of 6, okay.
Let me.
So those are the 2 best things that we read this week. I highly recommend either checking those books out from your library or purchasing them yourself if you are able. We really loved those books and I would highly recommend them. So thank you for watching, and we will be back next week with another best books we read this week. Bye.
Mercury, Venus, or Earth, what I do for your side. There's a Venus, Mercury, Pluto, where happiness and ourselves.